Hey everybody, I'm Garen and this is CitizenDiplomacy.net. I'm on a mission to talk to one person from every country in the world, and today we're talking to my good buddy Satvir. Satvir is from India. He's also Sikh. He's from Punjab, so there's a lot of stuff that you can educate us about there, and he's just a super cool guy, so I hope you enjoyed the interview. Hey Satvir, how's it going?
Hi Garen, it's good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's good to finally talk to you after a long time.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So I just want to ask you some questions about, nothing specific, but just about your country and where you're from, and maybe some of your experiences in America.
Yeah, sure. You can ask me any questions. I'll be glad to answer your questions.
All right. Well, why don't you start by telling us where you're from, and so you're from India, but I know that you have a lot of different identities, so I wonder, just how you answer that question, where you're from.
Okay, let me clear that question. I don't have different identities.
Okay.
Indians have different identities.
Okay.
Right? That's
Okay.
what you want to say. Right?
Uh-huh.
So, I am from a northern part of India.
Uh-huh.
It's called state of Punjab. And we share the border with Pakistan.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm from India, and we have different languages.
Uh-huh.
And my mother tongue is Punjabi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you don't feel like, I'm Indian, and I'm also Punjabi, and I'm also Sikh, it's not separate things, that's all.
Yeah, that's all one.
Okay.
Yeah, every Indian is an Indian first.
Uh-huh.
And then it's their religion, and it's their region.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm an Indian, I'm a Punjabi, and I'm a Sikh. So that goes together.
Okay.
Same thing for Americans, right? If I'm an American Sikh, I'm going to be an American, then I'm going to be a Texan, and then I'm going to be a Sikh.
Uh-huh.
Right? Yeah.
I guess, well, I'm just curious because, like me, I'm American. I'm very proud to be American.
Yeah.
But I'm also Basque, and my family, comes from this part of France, the Basque country, about. And it's not that they're exclusive. It's not like I can't be one or the other, but it's just unique, So I feel like identity is something that we all kind of make for ourselves, and there's lots of different things, and I can also say, well, there's, I'm Oregonian too, and I don't know, it's just, I think identity is an interesting thing, and it's not necessarily always the same. I'm an American, but I also think that Arizona is horrible, and I don't hate Arizonans, but I don't know, it's just an interesting subject.
Yeah, it's a normal human behavior. You tend to associate yourself with good things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you think, whatever you perceive is good, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And this is kind of like a deep thought for right off the bat in the conversation, but that's one thing I want to do with this website is, I was talking to my mom and my sister last night, and they're in Texas right now. They were in San Angelo, which I think is kind of close to you in El Paso. Do you know that town?
No. How far is it from Texas? From El Paso?
I don't know. I think it's in western Texas, though, so I think it's somewhere over by you.
Oh, okay.
But, they ride horses, so they're over there doing barrel racing and rodeos and stuff.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So we were just talking about all the people.
Sometime.
What's that?
You should come over sometime.
Yeah, well, my sister's going to be on this TV show about girls who do rodeos. So I might go down to Texas and watch her compete. So if I do, I'll definitely come by and see you.
Yeah, sure.
I don't really like El Paso very much, but I'd make an exception, come hang out with you.
I love El Paso, man.
It's pretty good, huh?
I used to love Salem, Oregon.
Uh-huh.
Now I love El Paso. Because it's Mexican culture,
Oh, okay.
And they're very nice people. They're welcoming.
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Cool.
It's not really Texan culture, it's more Mexican.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember we drove through there, and there was a huge dust storm when we were there. And it was crazy. You couldn't... It was like being in fog. You couldn't see in front of you on the road because the dust was so thick.
Maybe you're here at a bad time, you know.
I think so.
But normally it's very good weather. Today it's very cold and it's not nice at all.
Uh-huh.
But normally it's very good weather.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. And
It's exactly the opposite of Oregon, you know. We have sun like 360 days in a year.
uh-huh.
And in Oregon it's like a month or two. I don't know.
Uh-huh. And just like dreary and gray and wet the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are the people like in El Paso? Like the people are all pretty nice and everything and welcoming.
Yeah, they're nice to me. They're welcoming and they're very friendly, you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether they get scared with my turban or not, but so far I haven't had that many bad experiences there. Yeah.
That's good. Do people know what being a Sikh is? Like, do people go, "Oh, look, there's a Sikh," or are they like, "Oh, there's a crazy Muslim terrorist"?
No, I think they're curious,
Uh-huh.
but they don't want to stand in front of you and ask you, you know.
Yeah.
I can see in your eyes in their eyes that they're curious, you know. They
Uh-huh.
want to know, but they don't want to ask, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go there and tell them, okay, I'm a Sikh, you know.
I see you looking at me funny.
Yeah, but in Oregon, that used to happen, you know, sometimes, you know.
Uh-huh.
That sometimes a crazy guy used to shout, "You terrorists, get out of our country," or something like that. You know?
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
they used to say it and then run away, you know. Why don't they stand and face a terrorist?
Yeah. If you're so convicted to yell that.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind
Uh,
of the point that I was starting to make, though, is that, so like I was starting to say, my mom and sister are in Texas, and we were talking about all the people that they've met,
mhm.
and the things that unite us. You know, they find people that think the same way, or look at the world in a similar way, and then they have these strong connections. And we were just saying how a lot of times, just like what you said, how it's human nature to want to form your identity, to
Yeah.
associate yourself with certain things, and go, oh, I'm an American, I'm a Christian, I'm a Sikh, I'm a whatever it is, But when you start like making friends with people who are different than you, you're a different religion than me, you come from a different country than me, but we're really good friends. It's because there's something deeper. We look at the world and treat people a similar way, and we have similar personalities, and those things are so much stronger for an identity than any other label, and that's
Yeah,
one thing I want to do with
it's
this.
interesting that I was teaching the same thing in my class today.
Yeah.
The surface level diversity and the deep level diversity, you know.
Uh-huh.
So if you're similar based on surface, that's color, maybe religion, maybe your education, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you're gonna get along. The things that gets you two people along is their deep level diversity. That's personality, how they handle stress, how they handle different situations, their likings, their dislikings,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, maybe that's what we share. That's why we are good friends, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I feel like there's an intangible level to our being, whether you want to call it a soul or a spirit or whatever, And when you have a connection on that kind of a level, and that's something that you can, I met people in every country in the world, not every country, but, lots of countries around the world where I'm like, wow, here's somebody I don't know anything about them. They're totally different than me, but we connect on that level, and that's what I want to show people.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So what I thought that you were teaching like business classes in El Paso, but it sounds like you're teaching more cultural kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm teaching organizational behavior, and the basis of OB is psychology, right?
Uh huh.
So I teach discrimination at workplace. I teach diversity. I teach perceptions, individual perceptions, and how those perceptions affect decision making. All those things, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just some dude sitting in my living room talking about this stuff, but you're doing it for real. You're teaching in the classroom.
Yeah, it's good. It's interesting and it makes sense, right?
Uh-huh.
Most of the time, people and students takes it easy, but those things are not easy. If you get deep into it, that is really hard stuff, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to somebody about that the other day. One of my friends was asking me about when we went to school in Willamette.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to business school. I want to get my MBA." And he had taken a similar business class in undergrad, and he was talking about how his teacher said that all the students who got C's were going to be the ones who ran the businesses, who were the CEOs, because they do enough to like get by, but then in their free time they're like networking and meeting people and doing stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And then he said all people that had A's, they were going to go to work for the people who had C's because they were like the bookworms, you know. And I was just thinking about our school, like, I don't know, I guess the correlation is that, kind of with what you were talking about, people think it's easy, but it's not. Like, that's the stuff that's really hard in that Excel. So, like, you can be really into the concrete stuff, like I'm really into accounting and all the math, but really it's like the relationship level, and being able to talk to people and connect with people. That's actually a lot harder than people think that it is. And if you're good at it, then, it really sets you apart.
Yeah, that's why I make it very clear on the first day of the class, right? Because most of the students I have, they don't have any management experience because I'm teaching undergrads,
Mm-hmm.
So in management, we say you should use systematic study with your intuition, right? And I specifically tell them not to use their intuition while answering the questions.
Uh-huh.
They should only use their intuition if they have some management experience, right? Because intuition comes from experience, right?
Oh, okay.
If you don't have any experience, there is no point using your intuition. And if you'll be using your intuition to answer the question, it's going to backfire, right?
Uh-huh.
Most likely you're going to answer a wrong question, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how about this? Talking about that, how your experiences form your intuition and the way you look at the world and stuff. Growing up in India, do you think that there are experiences that are unique to being Indian that are different from being here, or I don't know. I'm just curious. Tell us what it's like growing up in India versus being in America.
I don't know. I didn't grow up here, so I cannot relate,
Uh-huh.
But from my perception, I think the experiences should be same because in the childhood, even people here do weird things, And then you have your friend circle at the college level, and then you do all that weird stuff,
Uh-huh.
And I think it's kind of the same, right?
Okay.
But obviously the culture is different,
Yeah.
Some things that you do here you cannot do over there. Some things you can do over there you cannot do here. So
Yeah.
overall, I think the experiences should be the same or similar,
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. This might not be like the image that you want to portray to the world, but I'll always remember you were telling me that being a Sikh, there's certain things that I don't know how to explain it, but like characteristics of a Sikh, like your turban, your hair, your beard, and one of them was a sword, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were telling me, so like all Sikh men have a sword. They either like carry it on them, or it's in their car, or it's always close by.
Yeah, if you are a baptized Sikh, you're supposed to carry that sword.
Okay.
Because that sword is one of the 5 Ks that they're supposed to carry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you were telling me that when you were in high school, you would have like your high school rivalry, like, oh, we're gonna go play basketball against this other school, and you guys would get in sword fights.
Not really. Yeah, fights happen. There is rivalry between colleges, right? And fights happen, and because like in the US, it's legal to carry arms,
Uh
right?
huh.
But in India, it's not so. You have to have a license. Only then you can carry arms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over there, when fights happen, most of the time people use swords. So it happens, yeah. Like here, people use guns. Over there,
Uh huh.
people use swords.
Well,
And
I remember you told me that you guys would turn them around, so you didn't use the sharp side, you used the blunt side, and you'd go whack each other with the blunt side of the sword to get like your inner school rivalries.
yeah, so that you don't kill somebody because you don't want to kill somebody and then end up in a jail.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think we should talk about that stuff.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, but in Sikhism, there is a purpose of carrying a sword. And that sword is different from normal swords.
Uh huh.
You're only supposed to use that sword in situation of a self-defense.
Oh,
So
okay.
if somebody is attacking you in self-defense, you can use that sword.
Okay.
Or if somebody is attacking somebody else, and in order to save that person, you can use that sword.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's not permitted to use that sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Neat. Um, could you even explain like really quick? I don't know. Maybe that's a hard thing to do, but like what Sikhism is all about. I don't really even know that much about it. I know you told me one time about the gurus that you have, but other than that, I don't know that much.
Yeah, so Sikhism started like uh, 500 years a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was started even before that, and we had 10 gurus, and the first guru was Guru Nanak Dev. Yeah. And that time, it wasn't really a religion. Anybody who used to follow Guru Nanak Dev Ji was called a Sikh.
Mm.
And then we had 10 gurus, and the 10th guru actually started the religion. And he is the one who gave the 5 Ks, the sword. He is the one who said that you are not supposed to trim your hair. And he is the one who coded everything, that what Sikhs are supposed to do, what Sikhs are not supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole purpose was to create a religion who can defend themselves and who can defend others. Because at that time, we had Arab rulers in India,
Mm.
and were Muslim rulers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were converting Hindus into Muslims forcefully.
Yeah, that's like a really
So,
bloody time in history, huh?
yeah. So he created this religion so that he, he, he can create people who can defend themselves and defend others, who
Okay.
can stand for themselves, right?
Okay.
So our religion is very modern, even though the looks look very traditional.
Uh huh.
The religion is very modern.
Okay.
Uh, there is gender equality, right? Women can go in the temple, they can read, they can participate in all the ceremonies. Uh, they have all the rights that male members of the religion have.
Okay.
They can even get baptized.
Uh huh.
And the religion is about equality. We
Okay.
don't believe in caste system because at that time caste system was very prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
So this religion actually defied caste system. So anybody who is a Sikh um, don't believe in caste system.
Okay. Neat.
And we believe in one God. So that God can have any name,
Uh huh.
and maybe it's the same for you. But we believe in just one God. Like in Hindus, there are different gods,
Mm-hmm.
like small gods,
Yeah.
and then a big God. We just believe in the big God,
Okay.
only one, the who is omnipotent and who is the most powerful being in the world
Uh huh.
or in the universe. Let's say.
Okay. Are most Punjabis Sikhs? Are those like synonymous terms or?
Um, all right. I would say most of the Sikhs are Punjabis,
Uh huh.
but not all Punjabis are Sikhs.
Okay.
So even in Punjab, you can be Punjabi and you can be a Punjabi Christian.
Oh, okay.
We have Christians too.
Uh-huh.
You can be a Punjabi Muslim.
Uh-huh.
You can be a Punjabi Hindu.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a Buddhist. You can be. There are many religions in Punjab,
Okay.
but the majority are the Sikhs.
And the name Singh, that's a Sikh name, not a Punjabi name, right?
Yeah, it's a Sikh name.
Okay.
So all the Sikhs are supposed to use Singh as their last name,
Uh-huh.
and Singh means lion.
Oh, that's...
So remember, I told you that the 10th Guru created this warrior community,
Uh-huh.
and that's why we all use Singh as last name.
Okay.
In case you have to fight, you should fight like a lion.
Yeah, you've got that lineage behind you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like, I see, people named Singh and Sikhs quite a bit. Like, I'll read something about India, and there's tons of, high-ranking people in the military and people in the government. Like, there's, for that one, minority ethnic group, there's like a lot of powerful people in the Indian government, right?
Yeah. Let me share some statistics with you. In the Indian freedom struggle, at that time there were only Sikhs were only 3 to 4% of the population,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the people killed by Britishers in that freedom struggle, out of them, 70 to 80% were Sikhs.
Oh.
So that signifies the contribution.
Yeah.
And that's why we are called Steens, because we are ready to fight in case you have to fight, Let's say for the freedom.
Uh-huh.
Let's say for freedom to be a turban in the US.
Yeah.
We are fighting that.
Well, how about this? So, and I mean, obviously you know this, but as Americans, we're like, oh, we love freedom. We're all about democracy. This is the freest country in the world. We always fight for freedom. And then you have like this amazing lineage, like your ethnicity. You're like, wait a minute, nobody loves freedom more than Sikhs do. How? I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think the basis of American culture is really strong because it's based on freedom,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of share those values with Americans because our religion is based on freedom, equality, but it's not just saying, okay, that we believe in freedom. If you believe in freedom, then you should actually admit it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying it doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah.
So, saying is one thing and then doing is another thing,
Uh-huh.
And that's what most of the politicians do. They just say things. They don't do things, right?
Yeah.
And as normal individuals, we should be able to do things rather than just saying things.
Yeah.
So if we tell others not to discriminate, that means we should not discriminate.
Uh-huh.
Right? Rather than just saying it, okay, don't discriminate, and then you go there and you see a turban and you're like, oh, Arab terrorist or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So it's about doing rather than just saying things.
What do you think after living in America for a while now? Do you think that we say a lot and don't do a lot, or do we do as much as we say?
Actually, I have had very good experiences, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot, and I've met very good people in America. There are bad people, obviously, but there are bad people everywhere. Who don't know anything, who just have those stereotypes for Indians, for Arabs, for Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
or for anybody who's non-American, right?
Yeah.
And then there are good people like you who are educating others that, okay, all of us are human beings, and even though we have different cultures, that's what we should share, We should know about different cultures, and different cultures have different things to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And there is this opportunity to learn rather than fight on things. That doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah. I'm just really interested in that because we don't need to get too far into this, but I feel like in our country we talk a lot about freedom, and we don't do freedom very well. Just in the last few years, a lot of laws have come about that are really kind of changing our country. Where we don't have all the same rights as before. You can get arrested and put in prison without being charged, without a trial, and we have a few American citizens who've been killed overseas now, and it's like these things that's not really what a free country looks like. But we like to talk about freedom, and that's one thing I want to do with this website is I feel like a lot of what's happening in our country is we're so afraid of terrorism that we're giving a lot of power to our government to keep us safe. And I just want to say to people, the world's not that dangerous,
I don't think government need to save American people. You have right to carry arms, right? And what's the meaning of that right? So that you can defend yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have that powerful constitution that gives you right to carry arms. Why American people are giving so much power to their government to defend themselves,
Mm-hmm.
If a terrorist comes to America, it's the American people who should be able to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, government should be part of it. They should be able to defend Americans, but it's the Americans who should be able to defend themselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you know me, I'm a big gun nut. It's funny, most foreigners are like, "Oh, Americans are so weird with all their guns." But it's funny to hear somebody defending the Second Amendment.
Yeah, so our religion is about carrying arms. Even that sword is an arm, and that's for self-defense. And the whole basis of carrying guns is self-defense, The Constitution doesn't permit you to carry arms to attack somebody,
Mm-hmm.
That's illegal. You can carry arms to defend yourself or you can use the arms as a game,
Mm-hmm.
for shooting or other purposes, but not to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
If you're using the arms to hurt anybody, that's unconstitutional. That's illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of same basis. Maybe that's why I like America, because Sikhism and America kind of goes along.
Yeah. I think I might need to go spend some time in Punjab now.
Yeah, sure, anytime, man.
Sounds like I might fit in well over there.
Yeah, I go to India in every December.
Okay.
So, anytime you're free, we can make a trip together, and you can discover more about Punjab, about swords, about guns, about fighting, about everything.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go ride a motorcycle around India. That's like one of the big kind of meccas in the world for adventure motorcycling is in India. So I'd love to go over there, get a bike, and maybe ride all the way up to Punjab.
Yeah, that's going to be a big adventure because India is a big country.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really want to discover India, I think that's a very good option,
Yeah.
One option is to use trains, and other option is to discover India through roads,
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'll have to put that on the to-do list. So, if somebody like me were to go to India, say I go to India and I go hang out with you, what would you if I was there for a week or something? What would we do for you to show me what it's like to be in India?
I think I'll take you to the countryside, because real India lives in the countryside.
Uh-huh.
Where if you go to big cities are same in every country,
Mm-hmm.
They're more Western. There is going to be clubbing. There is going to be traffic.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really want to discover India, 80% of India lives in villages, right?
Oh.
So I'll take you to the countryside. The main occupation of people in India is farming,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that would be a good idea to go to the countryside, see how people live, how they interact, how they have fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, all those things.
Cool. Are you from a small village?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Cool. Yeah, that sounds really great. That's so neat because that's the heritage of my family too. They all come from villages in the Basque Country where they herd sheep and cattle, and that's neat.
Yeah, I'm from a small village, but my after my high school, I lived in cities.
Mm-hmm.
But I still carry that tradition of a small village boy,
Uh huh.
So, yeah,
But it sounds like most people do. Most people have, like you said, 80% people in the cities probably have, come from small towns or at least have
yeah,
roots in the villages.
yeah, that's right.
That's really
So you can
interesting.
call India a big village,
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really interesting because I think that, like me, most people, when we think about India, we just think of like these enormous cities with 20 million people, and we probably think of it as a lot more of an urban place.
Yeah, we have big cities and there are towns, there are cities. But if you think population-wise, 80% of Indians still live in villages, and there are small villages, and then there are big cities too.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Neat. Um, what's one thing that if somebody didn't know anything about India or maybe even Punjab, and you wanted to make sure that they knew one thing about where you're from, like what's one piece of information you would want people to know?
One piece of information.
Uh huh.
I would say if you really want to discover what diversity is, you should visit India.
Uh huh.
So, so yeah, if you want to know the meaning of diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, we have diversity in the US, but you don't really see it. In India, when you go, you'll be able to feel it, you will be able to see it, and you will be able to see how it's working.
Uh
How
huh.
people from different cultures work together, interact together,
Mm-hmm.
and communicate and be effective and still stay happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say that if you took 100 Indians, like 95 of them or something would have a different language, a different ethnicity, a different religion, or any number of things.
Yeah. So in India, we speak more than 20 different languages.
Oh.
Like I speak Punjabi.
Uh huh.
So if there's some other Indian, most likely he's going to speak some different language if he or she is not from Punjab.
Uh huh.
So more or less every state has a different language.
Okay.
And then South India is culturally totally different from North India.
Uh huh.
North India is different, but still we understand Hindi, the national language. In South India, uh, people know more English than Hindi, and then
Okay.
the regional language.
Uh huh.
So yeah, it's a big country. North is different from south, east is different from west, and then each state is different from the other state.
But everybody still gets along pretty well, huh?
Yeah, everybody still gets along pretty well. Yeah.
Neat. That's really interesting because right now, I don't know if you would agree, but it feels like in America there's so many issues that divide us so much, and you turn on TV and everybody's like, oh, these people over here hate America and they hate kids and they hate freedom, and then these side over here, you guys are idiots and you don't know anything and you're fundamentalists, and I don't know, there's so many issues that divide us so much.
I I don't really think it's so because I watched all those presidential debates
Uh-huh.
in the last election, and both the candidates were kind of talking about same things, but in a different way.
Yeah.
I know there are many issues, but those issues don't reflect in those presidential candidates.
No.
They just talk about same thing, but in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
The issues are just the same.
Yeah. I totally agree. That's why I was so frustrated, that everybody acts like it's this huge decision, like, oh, should we go for A or B? And it's like, we're not going to really go in that much of a different direction depending on who wins. We're still going to, it's going to be basically the same thing. And for me, obviously, I'm really interested in foreign policy. So I watched the foreign policy debate, and they both agreed. They're like, whether you vote for this guy or that guy, we're still going to go bomb all the brown people. We're still going to go take out Iran. So
Yeah. So you don't like America's foreign policy?
no, I don't. I mean, it's such a huge subject too. I'm sure there's a lot of countries that we do, good things in. So I mean, I can't just say a blanket statement that the foreign policy is bad, but like right now, a huge issue is all the drone strikes that we're doing. There's like 6 countries I think that we don't have official wars in. Like Yemen and Pakistan, and we're killing tons and tons of people. The other day, I saw a list of all the children under 10 years old that we have killed in Yemen and Pakistan. And the list just keeps going and going and going. So I don't know. Without rambling too much, I just feel like in a subject like that, we do a lot more harm than good. That all those people who have lost children, they hate America now. So I think that we could
Yeah,
do a lot
I
more
think
good.
you are right. That thing is creating more terrorists. Let's say one of your brother or one of your kids get killed in a drone strike. What you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
The normal human tendency is to take revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those things are creating more terrorists, right?
Yeah.
If you want to kill terrorists, you should have a face-to-face war with
Mm-hmm.
them, rather than striking a whole village in which there is one terrorist,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. So,
And was some statistics that came out that said that for every one terrorist we kill 49 innocent people. So, not
that's
very
really bad.
good odds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, this is kind of related to that, but what are your thoughts on, like on this subject? It's from what I've read, it's an extremely important subject in Pakistan. They're all talking about it there, and you live right next door to Pakistan. Is that an issue that strikes close to home at all, or?
What the drone strikes?
Yeah.
Actually, we are kind of a traditional enemy of Pakistan.
Yeah.
If you see the Indian history, um, we had wars with Pakistan, right?
Uh-huh.
And they used to support terrorists to Indian part of Kashmir.
Yeah.
So those things, we don't discuss those things in India. It's their issue, right? But obviously, if you ask me a question, I think it's infringement of sovereignty of a country, and maybe Pakistan don't have a strong government so that they can take care of it, and America is using that, and I think it's a government problem because Pakistan don't have enough control on what they have created in the past.
Mm-hmm.
They have created militant groups and now they're hurting them. And now Americans are there, they're killing terrorists, but those terrorists are Pakistanis, right? So they are kind of they don't know what they should do in such kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I would like to stay away from Pakistan politics.
Yeah.
It's their issue. They should resolve it, right?
Yeah. That makes sense. And that's what I tell people too. I tell people I don't know all of the information, obviously. Like, I don't know the stuff that the government knows. So I'm not going to, tell people what we should do in certain subjects or whatever. But on the other hand, like, I feel like I know a lot of things that the government doesn't know. Like, I know what it's like to walk around in the streets in Iran, So it's like, I'll let you guys worry about the politics, and I'm just going to keep telling people, this message, that the people on a face-to-face basis, are amazing people everywhere in the world, and just hope that
And for that reason, Pakistanis are amazing people, because we before partition, the Punjab used to be united. There is
Mm-hmm.
a Punjab in Pakistan, and then there is a Punjab in India.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Indian side of Punjab, but we have some great temples and gurdwaras in Pakistan, and people go there to visit those gurdwaras, right? And they get very good treatment. The people are very nice. They take those people to their houses. They treat them really good. They're good people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about people. It's about governments.
Yeah.
Whenever you're going to talk about people, they get along really well.
Yeah.
It's the governments that don't get along really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I have a lot of hope for our future, is that it used to be that our governments would kind of dictate our relationships, where the government would say, these are our allies, these are our enemies, these are the good guys, these are the bad guys. But now, just like this, I can go, okay, well, we're supposed to be friends with these guys or enemies. Let me find out for myself. And I can talk to somebody face to face, So that's why I think that things are going to change, is that we can finally start making relationships on our own. Finding out for ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And moreover, these kind of things can put pressure on the governments. There are citizens know what they're doing. They have that information.
Mm-hmm.
In the past, people don't used to have any information, and that's what has been used by governments to say, okay, this country is bad because of these reasons, and we're gonna attack them. And everybody used to believe that, right? But now, because of this internet, because of media, we get that information, and then we can use our own mind and our own logic to come to a conclusion whether it's a good idea to be in war with the country or it's a bad idea, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is kind of a random tangent based on what you said, but I remember you telling me that on the border with India and Pakistan, there's all the border crossings. And they pick the guys who have, like, the best beards and the best physique. And then they're the ones that, at the end of every day, they go and do, like, this big show where they, like, raise and lower the flag. And they're like, oh, crap, that guy over there his beard's better than mine. We gotta go find another soldier who has a really good beard. And the whole thing is this big show of, like, strength and...
Yeah. So we have the retreat ceremony at the border, and over there they put their best soldiers, and we put our best soldier, just to show that we are better.
Uh-huh.
And whenever there is some problem, or there is some issue, uh, that tension gets even promoted.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of signaling that we are better than you, and you are worse than us. That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see those videos on YouTube if you type Wagah Border Parade.
Okay.
It's WAGA border and then parade. You can see those videos, and you can see what happened.
I just got to knock at the door. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, hey, I gotta go. I'm just dropping that off for Matt.
All right, I'll give it to him.
Thank you. Tell him I want my bag back.
I will. All right, see you, Cheryl. Sorry about that. I'll edit that out.
Okay.
It was my roommate's mom came and dropped him off some cooking stuff.
Okay. Where are you living these days?
I live in Newburgh, the same place I before. I have my own house now, though.
That's good.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I live right in town, and I can walk down to the grocery store and walk to the gym. And I have a big garage, so I have all my motorcycles down there.
How many bikes you have?
Well, I only have one that works. I have one that works. I have one that's this far away from working. I'm rebuilding an old one. I bought an old, like, 1978, I think it is, bike, and I'm, like, restoring it. And then I have a whole, like, just a mountain of parts that if I can finally finish them, there's like enough for like 4 bikes down there. So I just have all kinds of like random like frames and tanks and wheels, and so that's kind of my hobby now, is building motorcycles.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, one of my friend is very much into biking, motorbiking in India.
Uh huh.
So if you want to do something on a bike in India, yeah, I can get you hooked up with that friend.
All right. Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. What I want to do is, right now I'm starting some side businesses because, so up until all the way through last year, I worked for my family's business. After we graduated from school, I did all the management for the business side of things, and I realized that this is my mission in life, is to find ways to connect people, like I did with my Iran trip. So I'm like, I want to do this full time. So I quit my job on December 31st, and now I'm starting to build some of these side businesses, and I want to get to the point where I can, make my money with those and online from anywhere, and then just travel all the time and film documentaries and write a book and things like that. So if I can pull it off, I'll definitely come over to India and work from India for a few months, ride a bike.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we can do something like this for my class,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because you have that cross-cultural experiences, right?
Uh-huh.
And most of the people in my class don't have that experience.
Okay.
So maybe you can share something with my students and tell them about cross-cultural communications.
Yeah.
And about those perceptions and everything, all your experiences.
I'd love that. If you want, I could do some kind of a presentation about Iran, and teach about my trip to Iran, and then use that as an example, to teach some lessons from that.
Yeah, sure. We can definitely do something.
Okay.
Maybe in this semester, or I'll be teaching in the summers. So maybe in the summer semester, I'm teaching every semester. So anytime, yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, great. Yeah, let's just keep talking about it, and we could do it like this, or like I said, if I end up down in Texas sometime soon, I'll just come do it in person.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
even Skype would work,
Okay.
Yeah, if you come down here, yeah, we can do it in person.
Yeah, just let me know. We'll keep talking about it and what the parameters are and what what it needs to be like, and we'll do it. That'd be great.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Well, I'll ask you one more question, then we'll finish the recorded part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, are there any things that we haven't gotten to talk about yet that you'd like to mention about any of your experiences, or about Iran or India?
India, I think we almost covered everything. Like, the purpose of this interview was to share my experiences in the US, right?
Uh-huh.
How it feels to be an Indian in the US, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we kind of talked about all those experiences.
Okay.
If you have any specific question, I'll be glad to answer that.
I just have one more, and that is that just, you personally, if you could give one message to everyone in the world, so everybody watching this, what one message would you want to tell people from around the world?
For all the people around the world, I would like to say that be open and try to learn about new cultures, about people, and try to understand those people.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody is bad. It's what we perceive as bad. Once you're going to get to know those people, most likely you're going to change your perception.
Yeah.
So it's a good idea to learn about people rather than just perceiving.
All right. Well, that's a good.
You're doing a very good job in educating people, and that's what we need in America and in the world. That's what we need. We need to educate people about different cultures and yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thanks for being a part of it today, Satvir.
All right. It was fun talking to you, and I really enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, me too. Thanks. All right, so that's good. That'll be good for our recorded thing.
Okay, so you're gonna put it on the website, huh?
Yeah, not right away. I want to put maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 up at one time, so that when people start coming to it, there's not just one. You know.
So
But
please edit the part where I mess up.
yeah, yeah, I'll do. I'll make sure it all looks good.
Okay.
How about do you have any ideas of people from other places that I should interview?
People from other places.
I was going to interview Joe over the weekend from Thailand,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that'll be good.
that didn't work out. So I'll have to try to do it this weekend with him.
Joe and Aminata. Are you in touch with Aminata?
Yeah, I talked to her a few months ago, and it was always really hard to figure it out. But if I can get that to work again, she'd be a good person to talk to.
Aminata, and then we had so many international students. Right? There were a few from Middle East, right?
Yeah, I emailed Aziz.
Yeah.
So I think most of the people in our school I've contacted. So that'll be a good head start.
Yeah. Do you know anything? Do you have anybody from Pakistan?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Do you have friends from there?
Yeah, I have this one guy. He was in accounting. He just graduated. He's from Pakistan. If you want to talk to him.
Okay.
Then I have few friends from Bangladesh.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah. So
Here, I'm gonna give you my email. You probably already have it, but feel free to, give my email to anybody, and they can contact me, or I can contact them. Either way.
okay. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's keep in touch, and we'll figure out how to talk to your students.
Yeah, sure. That'll be fun. I'll try to make some space for you, right? And we'll talk about it, and if it works, then we can do something, right?
Cool.
Maybe a 30-minute presentation on Iran, right? That'll be cool.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Last time, actually, I taught international management. And that was the best class to have this kind of presentation. Right?
Yeah.
This time I'm teaching organizational behavior, but even in organizational behavior, we talk about cultures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it can work out.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I went up to my undergraduate college in November, and I did a speech for a bunch of students up there. So I already have a lot of stuff prepared for it.
Okay, that's cool.
Cool. All right. Well, it was great talking to you, Satvir.
All right, it was nice talking to you, and stay in touch, and keep rocking, as you always.
You too. Rock on, man.
All right.
All right. Later,
bye.
Satvir.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that that was an interesting conversation. And if you've never met somebody from India before, I hope having Satvir's face in your brain and hearing his stories and his voice gives you a little bit more of a connection to that place now. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll tune in next time and watch another person in another country on CitizenDiplomacy.net. Thanks.